You're welcome, Commissioner Mulvehill. It's not often we have the opportunity to besuch an internationally sought after expert on self-promotion and cluelessness. Perhaps you can explain to our viewing audience how it is that you manage to be so sought after on the international level.
Why, that is easy. First, you simply have to establish a goal. In my case, my goal was to travel the world on my limited resources by convincing the silly residents of our city that I have something important to share with the world and have them pay for it. After all, I do have an MBA and deserve to be honored and recognized for having an MBA. By the way, do each of your viewers know that I have an MBA?
Commissioner Mulvehill, I'm sure there may be a few viewers out there that have lived most of their lives under a rock, but appreciate the subtle and low-key manner in which you share with the world that you have an MBA. In fact, some of our viewers are tuning in for no other reason than to learn more of your motivational approaches and techniques required to help them achieve a fulfilling and clueless existence. Perhaps you could share with them, if you will.
I'd be happy to share my unique secrets. First, let's talk about setting the goal of being clueless and irrelevant such as I am. You achieve this goal with passion, vision, and focus. Let's begin with passion. Passion is the powerful emotion inside you that drives you to honestly believe that you are much more than the sorry loser you really are. Second is vision. To maximize the visual piece of my secret, you will need to use a black or blue Sharpie pen and draw the most beautiful happy face you can imagine on your right index finger. And finally, you will want to stand in front of a mirror, raise your happy face right index finger and repeat, "I am great, I am great, I am great." And because I probably will be nowhere near you when you practice this mindless exercise and I will be unable to hear you, you must scream at the top of your lungs, "I am great, I am great, I am great." However, please do not do this exercise in a public restroom or anywhere within 100 feet of a school. That, my friends, is focus.
Amazing. How long did it take you to acquire the cutting-edge insight to such an elusive issue?
Well, I say, if you have ever seen me in action at one of the many Long Lake Worth Commission meetings, you would know that I can Google like all get out. In fact, if it were not for Google, I do not know how I would function in the reality world that everyone else is expected to live in.
So would this mastery of the Google search be the foundation and genesis of the many world organizations that seek you out as a fair-to-read speaker?
Of course not. You see, these organizations really do not seek featured speakers from the ranks of the clueless. Even I know that. The truth is that I simply write them a nice letter and tell them about how I have single-handedly saved the city of Lake Worth from unspeakable calamity.
Like fighting for the new Publix to be constructed?
Yes, it is true, I did fight to prevent the new Publix from being constructed.
And how about your fight to save $100 million worth of projects that the Visionary Commission screwed up?
Another example of my cluelessness and lack of value to the governance process. You see, there really wasn't 100 million in new construction projects screwed up because the projects were just a talking point thrown out there by a remaining holdover from the good old days of when I ran the city with the help of Susan Stanton.
And how about the Casino Beach project? Isn't that your true claim to fame?
It will only be my claim to fame if I can continue to enlist the help of Willie Howard and the Palm Beach Post to continue to distort the reality about the costs of the project, and how I have tried to suppress the new rents for the project to help my contributor friends and my lawyer and minimize the impact of the potential award to Greater Bay from the lawsuit that I helped create so that I could get elected.
Can we turn now to the subject of your recent trip to Germany?
I thought you would never get to this subject. I have been waiting for anyone to ask me about this trip so that I can embellish upon the lie I told the public surrounding the necessity of the trip to begin with. You see, as I said earlier, my goal is to travel the world on my limited resources and have the taxpayers pay for it. And pay they did. You see, when I told them that I had been sought after to speak for an hour and a half, what I was really saying was that I wanted to visit Germany and Poland again before I am defeated in the next election cycle. So in reality, I wrote the people in Germany and invited myself to speak. And I saved a little bit of money off the registration fee to boot. Now that's being a good steward of the taxpayers' money. Travel arrangements were then made so that I could go to Germany 6 days before my 12-minute self-invited presentation and return 5 days after for a total of 14 days vacation on the taxpayers' nickel.
How clever! Do you think the residents of Lake Worth will ever suggest that your trip is really not what it seems?
Probably not. You see, when you have an MBA, you can represent yourself as an expert on just about anything and take as many trips as you want. For example, no one has said a word about my recent trip to Canada where I took extra days to ski. Speaking of skiing, that reminds me about the Denver trip I took in November 2010 where I took even more days and ended up owing money to the city and got Susan Stanton to cover it all up and reassigned the commission legislative assistant to another department so she could not tell anyone about the cover-up or the money owed, because that might invoke an inspector general investigation or ethics complaint.
That sounds serious.
Not really. You see, when you are as clueless and shameless as I am, you simply dismiss these types of situations as a political attack by those who are upset that they could not go to Germany with me for 14 days to see my wonderful 12-minute presentation firsthand.
Did you bring anything of value back from Germany?
Other than a few new photos, new entry stamps on my passport, and perhaps a PowerPoint presentation that I copied so I could repeat it to the public at a commission meeting, yes. I did bring back some chocolate candy. You know, Lake Worth is becoming the chocolate capital of South Florida, and of course I had to bring back some German chocolate as part of our cultural exchange. I got them in a special Happy Fingers edition which I plan on distributing as part of my upcoming re-election campaign. Melting may be a problem going door to door in our South Florida heat.
What is that you say, Commissioner Mulvehill? Are you predicting a meltdown during your re-election campaign?
You know, I attempt to prevent emotional meltdowns on the dais. I hope I don't have to combat the same demons during our door-to-door campaign. Benigna Breath will have her hands full, but at times my other commissioners have a way of touching my red-hot buttons. I can be very sensitive at times, especially when I am proven wrong, which can be a lot. It does get tiring, but that's why I like these junkets to foreign lands so much.
Thank you for squeezing this interview into your 14-day stay in Germany, Commissioner Mulvehill. Bon voyage, and may I join with the rest of the German peoples and say thanks for coming to our country and bringing your MBA all that way from Lake Worth, Florida. We look forward to your return.
In the meantime, just remember my personal mantra: I am great.